Okay, tell me about Zoto.
Well, Zoto is the Japanese cultural tradition of gift giving, and it's something that happens almost year-round. And basically, it's broken into three different categories, which are kind of ceremonial gift givings, um, gift givings that are, and those would be like at a certain time every year. And then there's also gift giving as a way to say thank you or as a way to say I'm sorry, some kind of like a apology or expression of gratitude. And then there's also gift giving at like certain times during a person's life, like on Kids Day and Children's Festival, and at different times when you first graduate from school and when you um, make it into a school or when you get your first job. Those kind of things are also, it's kind of like an appropriate time to give a gift. So those are the three different categories that kind of define when and how and what kind of gifts you give. And the kind of, I guess the thing that stands out about this tradition is that while in most Western countries gift giving isn't really compulsory, it's more of like you give a gift to someone you like or as a way to say thank you for something, but it's not like there's no time during the year where you necessarily have to give a gift. Of course, people celebrate things like Christmas and whatnot where gift giving is part of that tradition, but there's no like cultural stigma against people who don't. Well, I guess there could be. I mean, you might think of someone who doesn't give a gift as being kind of Scroogeist or whatever, but there's not such a set, defined process or method of gift giving as there is in Japan.
Okay. Tell me about this extravagant wrapping of gifts in Japanese culture. What's the history, or what did you
Well,
learn about that?
it's just that I think the Japanese they play up their gift giving because everything. It's kind of funny. The gifts that people give aren't necessarily that extravagant. Like usually, it's more polite to give something that's like an everyday use item. The examples would be like sugar, soap, bath towels. These kind of things are just like the idea is that if you give somebody an object that everybody knows the value of, then it's easy for somebody else to return that favor to you because everybody knows how much a bath towel is worth or how much sugar is worth, and it's something that's common day. You know that the person's going to find use from it, so they're kind of not very extravagant gifts, and then the wrapping kind of makes it like takes it to the next step of saying like this is the item I've gone through the trouble of giving to you, and it kind of shows that by going through that trouble if you're saying sorry, you really feel that sorrow, or if you're congratulating somebody with a gift, then you really are heartfeltly expressing your congratulations. So it kind of came out of that, but I think the question in the book asks like, what do you think of the extravagance of Japanese gift giving? And I think that, and is it necessary? And I think that the extravagance involved with wrapping the gift isn't necessarily something that has to be done as far as a practical sense, but it is definitely part of the Japanese tradition of gift giving. So, if you are going to follow along with this tradition, then you need to do it, to the full extent, which would include, ornately wrapping the gifts. And there are different ways of wrapping for different occasions and for different presents. So, I think that it's important in the cultural sense, whereas, delicately wrapping a gift might not be practically important.
Interesting. Okay. In Japan, is money viewed as an appropriate gift?
It's absolutely viewed as an appropriate gift, and it all relates back to the fact of knowing the value of a gift that you're giving and being something that can be used every day. Because if you give money, it's like the absolute, everybody knows what 1,000 yen is worth or 20,000 yen is worth because it's 20,000 yen. So
Right.
by giving money, it's, things where in Western cultures you would never think to give money, like at a funeral or, as a way to say thank you to somebody. I guess we only really repay people as far as gratitude goes whenever they perform a really, like a true service, like lifting some items and moving your house, helping you move things out of your house. But other than that, any kind of like a thanks for your friendship you would never want to give money as a gift because it's seen as tacking a value onto some kind of a relationship.
Right.
Whereas in Japan, it's seen as, well, this is something that's of value and people know the value of this object. And by giving it, you help to, secure your relationship with some other person. So it's viewed as kind of the ultimate easy to give, like nice to receive gift. So.
Yeah. All right. Tell me about tipping in Japan versus here. What's the Japanese point of view on tipping versus the American point of view on tipping?
Well, the American point of view on tipping is that you have to. It's kind of a act of gratuity, and you give to say thanks to your server for the service that they gave you. And if you don't tip, you're seen as being stingy or cheap. And in Japan, it's kind of the opposite, where they feel that the servers and the shop owners have a fair agreement between one another, and the server gets paid by the shop owner for the work that they do in the shop. So the Japanese feel that it's unnecessary to tip for a service that they fairly, they already knew the price of a meal, and so they came in willing to pay that, and to have some kind of stigma that forces them to pay more after that, pre-agreed kind of that already arranged price is seen as being like tricky, or it's just seen as being unimportant, because it's not like in America the waiters make like below minimum wage and then they make up the rest of the money that they in some other type of job would make through tips. But in Japan they're just paid, if you get paid the same as being a waiter as you might being like a retail clerk. So it's not seen as necessary to try and add on to their salary because they already have a fair arrangement with their shop owner.
What is the meaning if someone does leave a tip in Japan?
Well, I think there are some occasions where it is proper to leave a tip in Japan, which is like for the director, for example, like a band at a wedding, or for whenever you move out of your house, the people who, if you hire a moving company, it's appropriate to tip then, but otherwise it's not appropriate to tip.
And in the olden days, if you left a tip, it was saying to the shop owner, "This service is terrible. Hire more people, or hire better people." So they might not have covered that in your collegiate book that you're reading, but that's amongst the historic reasons behind tipping too. That there is some negativity for leaving a tip.
Right.
Do you think that Americans expect to receive gifts in reciprocation, or is that a word? Reciprocation. I was like, where's the word? Reciprocation for if they receive a gift. I mean, if you were given a birthday gift, would you expect to receive a birthday gift in return, or some other gift? Would you expect to give somebody back in return? I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that there's kind of two different types of gift giving and receiving in America, and one's like on holiday kind of gift receiving and giving, and then there's just like the thank you gift or the apology gift or something like that. So I think that on like Christmas, birthdays, weddings, whatever, the person who receives a gift kind of feels pressured to return something if that person were to have a similar occasion. Like if you went to your friend's wedding and you gave them a present, you kind of expect that once you get married, they give you a present because it's kind of reciprocating what you did. But it's kind of more than, it's not necessarily like I give them a present, so I need a present back or a gift back.
It's a statement of the relationship.
Right, exactly. It's more like I'm your friend, and so I was there at your wedding, and I, gave you this housewarming or newlywed gift, and I expect that if I was in the same situation, you would treat me the same. But that said, there are other occasions, like I think in Japan, if someone were to receive a gift, say like you gave a gift to your neighbors who just moved in to kind of begin the process of coming to know each other, which is common practice in Japan, then the people who receive the gift are then obligated to, in return, give some kind of gift to the family who initially gave them the housewarming gift. But in America, if someone gives you a gift to try and say hello and thanks, welcome to our neighborhood, or thank you for your patronage, something like that, there's no real feeling of, oh, well, I need to give a gift back. It's more like they gave me a gift because of the special situation I'm in, and because of the special situation, I'm kind of deserving of that gift because that's just how things go.
Right.